Alright, welcome back anyone who is watching this. This is going to be my valuation for like all the cards. I'm going to try to explain briefly what each card is like. Like my thoughts on each card, how each card is going to be used, what each, the power level that each card has. So I do a written review. In the written review, I go into a lot more detail on the card. It's the cards themselves. So that'll be linked in the description. For the YouTube review, I'm not going to go into like specific number values, but I'm just going to be using a simple star system. So 6-star card is anything that I would rate. By the way, these ratings are kind of based on the Hearth Arena rating system. There are certain cards where I disagree with Hearth Arena on. So if, and I'll mention that, but usually I'm comparing where Hearth Arena has these cards as just like as a baseline. So anyways, 6-star card would be anything that's 100 plus, which is probably something that shouldn't be in the game. 5-star would be anything from about a 90 to 100, which is like a super premium card you're always happy to see no matter what it's against. 4-star card, 80 to 90. These are like really good cards. They're, again, cards you're happy to see. There's better cards out there, but they're still really good. 4-star is about 75 to 90 because I changed the ratings a little bit to account for this. 3-star is 60 to 75. These are your above average cards. These are cards you're fine picking up, but like again, there's a lot better stuff out there. 2-star cards, these are 40 to 60. These are cards like you're not happy to pick them up, but you're going to need them as basically a deck filler to get through the game. And then finally, 1-star, this is anything under a 40 where it's like you do not want to pick this up, you're unhappy to pick this up, you may be forced to pick this up, or the case that these are cards that are so synergistic that you can't reliably get these cards to go off, but in certain decks they will be incredibly powerful. Alright, so going over the cards here, I'm going to start with the commons and then work my way up to the legendaries. And again, remember, this is only for Arena, so like there's construct purposes, I might bring those up, but I'm just talking in general on Arena. Alright, so we start here. Intrepid Initiate. 1 mana, 1/2, Spellburst game, +2 attack. Bad 1-drop. In the mid to late game, the Spellburst is going to matter a little bit. So it's going to matter a lot more than you think. Because you play this, like on turn 2, you play this, you coin out another 2-drop, you've got two drops on the board. So, or you play this on 1, your opponent doesn't remove it, you coin out a 3-drop going second, and that is going to happen a lot. Do not discount that. And it's for that reason that I actually have it a low 3-star card. It just barely reached 3 stars, just because the possibility of this into coin 3-drop, which happens 50% of the time if you have it. But even if it's a bad 1-drop, you're going to get enough spells where Spellburst is going to matter with the card. All right. Next one here, we have Sneaky Delinquent. 2 mana, 3/1, stealth, death rattle, add a ghost with stealth to your hand. So there was a card back in the day, Twisted Worgen, which was a 3/1 stealth, which underperformed because there are a lot of ways that you can deal with the 1 health. But the fact that it adds a 3/1 ghost to your hand makes it a lot better. So this is, I would compare it to a Loot Hoarder. Loot Hoarder, 2/1, death rattle, add a random card to your hand. This 3/1, add a 3/1 stealth to your hand. This is actually kind of an aggro card because people may not be able to deal with it, or they can deal with the first half and they can't deal with the second half. So yeah, I think this is a solid 3-star card. Like this is a solid mid-range 3-star card, just because stuff that adds stuff to your hand is always good. One Maker, 2/2, Battlecry, add a random 1-cost spell from your class to your hand. We've seen with Cobalt Spellkin 1-cost spells, they're a lot better when you're not giving up a card to get them and when you're just like generating them. So 2/2s that add stuff to your hand, those are always good. So One Maker here is going to be a really good card. It's going to be a low 4-star card, just like about what any 2/2s that add stuff to your hand is. Plus, obviously, you have a 1-cost spell that works extremely well with Spellburst. Divine Rager, 4 mana, 5/1, Divine Shield. Cursed Disciple was basically this back in Kobolds and Catacombs. So this is going to be a Cursed Disciple, which was a little bit better than a Yeti, so that would put it at a high 3-star card. Not much to say there. Like, obviously buffs are a thing. You can. This is a little bit better with buffs than Cursed Disciple is, but again, we've seen this card. It's a rager. Fishy Flyer, Rush, 4/3 Rush, Death Rattle, add a 4/3 Ghost Rush to your hand. Warrior has a card, Corcoran Elite, Corcoran Elite, which is a 4/3 charge, and that is a good card. This is a little bit worse of a Corcoran Elite that adds a second one to your hand. So this is going to be a great card. Like, it doesn't look it off the top, but this is going to be a solid 4-star card. It's just removal is always good. This is solid removal. Adding stuff to your hand is always good. This is a solid thing you're adding to your hand. It can take out small things like anything with 2 attack and leave a body on the board. It's just, it doesn't look good. It doesn't look sexy, but it's just going to be good. Nothing there. Ogremancer. Okay, when your opponent casts a spell, summon a 2/2 skeleton with taunt. So, 5 mana, 3/7. Best stat line? Not at all. But it's a sticky enough stat line. There's very, very few things that have 7 attack on their own. So, if you play this on curve, it's probably going to stick. And there's because of Spellburst, this is going to counter a lot of Spellburst stuff. So, like a 2/2 skeleton with taunt. Let me see here. I didn't know the skeleton had 2 heads. I mean, okay, that's cool. Right. Anyways, Ogremancer here. Like, it's gonna be a lot more annoying than you would think. There was a card back in the day, Boom Pistol, not Burgley Bully. It's not Boom Pistol. Boom Pistol's the 5/5 battle cry thing. I want to say Boom Pistol Bully from MSG, and that card added when your opponent casts a spell, added a coin to your hand. Actually, I'm going to take a brief detour here. I know it's an MSG. Mean Streets Gadgets in. I know it's an Epic. Epic. Burgle Bully. There. Burgle Bully. Burgley Bully. Whenever your opponent casts a spell, add a coin to your hand. So, this was a solid card. 4/6 stat line. Better than a 3/7, I would say. But the coin, I would easily rather have a 2/2 coin, which is worth about 2 mana, rather than a coin worth about 1 mana. Alright, so point being, this is another card. It's deceptively powerful. It doesn't look that powerful, but it's going to be a solid card. I think it's going to be a 3-star card. I don't think it's going to be something it's going to be something you're okay taking. Best way to put it. Smug Senior. 6 mana, 5/7 taunt, death rattle, add a 5/7 ghost with taunt to your hand. We've seen this stat line or similar versions of this stat line on other cards. We've seen it for 7 mana on Bog Creeper, 6/8. We've seen it with Hungry Etten, a 5/9. Those are premium ones. This is 1 mana less for the same distribution of stats. 7 health is a lot, 5 attack is a lot. And it adds a 5/7 ghost with taunt to your hand, a second one of these. If you have taunt, getting extra taunt makes it a lot better than like the sum of the. It's a lot better than the sum of the parts. Like, it's the old Bone Wraith or Cardsuit Defender or Sledge Belcher thing. So getting the second taunt here, I would take this very easily over Bog Creeper or Hungry Etten. And those used to be like very premium cards. So again, this is where my point on what is the real power level of cards is. Because a Bog Creeper would be a card in the 80s. So it's like, this is a lot better than a Bog Creeper, but can I say it's like a 90 level card? Can I say it's a 5-star card? And I can't. I kind of want to, but I can't. And like, I have it rated as an 88, which would be a high 4-star card. And this is the best common. This is the best neutral in the set, by the way. But yeah, like, again, nothing really that stands out. Let me see what's he look like. I just noticed that there is a dragon behind both. I just noticed, paying attention to the art. There's a dragon here. You can see the dragon eye behind the Smug Senior. And you can see the actual dragon behind the Spectral Senior. So, and look, that looks like a danger. Huh. Looks like the smug senior went into the danger zone and got eaten by a dragon, and now he's a ghost. I appreciate the art. I appreciate the storytelling within the art. Okay. Anyway, Lake Thresher. 5 mana, 4/6. Also damages the minions next to whoever this attacks. So this thing basically has Taunt. Cleave is always extremely powerful. Alright, the Cleave cards we have seen before have not been powerful. Cave Hydra was situationally powerful, but it was just a little bit too weak on curve. And there was, way back when, Magnetor Alpha, which was a 5/3 with Cleave, but it would die whenever it hit something, if it hit something, and it never would because it had 3 health. So here, 4/6. That's not easy to remove. So because of that, you're going to want to, it's probably going to go off a lot more than you think. And also it's going to impact trades. Like if this is on the board and you can't clear it, your choice is you have to trade all your stuff into it. So this does not just kill you. If you're a paladin or a shaman, then you can't play your hero power because your hero power gives like free hits on the 4 attack. So yeah, this is going to be a good card. This is going to be, I would say, a high 3-star card. Like, I'm not sure if the meta is going to be tempo enough where this is going to matter. And I'm not sure if there's going to be enough situations where this matters, but it has pretty much soft taunt and a really powerful effect. Desk Imp. I feel inky. I guess he's working. All right, the Wisp. Low 1 star. It's a Wisp. Crimson Hothead. 4 mana, 3/6. Fine stats. Dragon. Dragon tag is good. Spellburst. Gain 1 attack and taunt. I believe Crip said that this card, either it has taunt because you're going to trade into it, or it has taunt because someone's going to activate a Spellburst and then you're going to trade into it. And that's pretty much what it is in Arena. 3/6 is a little bit worse than a Yeti. Spellburst probably makes it a lot better than a Yeti. So you cut the difference a little bit better than a Yeti, which is a high 3-star card. Plagued Proto-Drake. 8 mana, 8/8. Death Rattle. Summon a random 7-cost minion. This, I'm not putting it as the best card, but I could very easily see this ending up as the best card in the set because it does something that... okay, so the set has a lot of removals, and the set has a lot of value. So the counter to that is you play sticky stuff that can't get removed and stuff that'll hit you in the face, so the value doesn't matter. So you got an 8/8 that summons a 7-cost minion. You can't remove that with like a single hard removal unless it's a transform or silence effect. You can't like block that with regular removals because they won't do enough. So you're going to have to put in a lot to clear this off. And also, by the way, 7-drops. 7-drops are extremely powerful. Like a lot of 7-drops are extremely powerful. I see any rarity here. Like there's a couple bad ones out there, but like so this can be okay. So 6/8 with an effect. This can make big stuff cost cheap, and if you're not playing it, if you're just getting it out of Death Rattle, it's really good. Giant Taunt. Fill your board if you don't have a way to clear it, which is situational. Giant Taunt. Giant Taunt. Poisonous, which means it's going to kill off a few things. Big Body. You need something big enough to kill it. Giant Taunt. This is going to be insane with Spellburst. Big Body. Stealth. Can't clear it. Big Body. Let's see. So, like you see here, like this is probably the worst among neutrals. If we go all classes. Card type. Minion. And all right, it's being stupid again. Okay, so Priestess of Fury, like you gotta clear it. The Militia, you gotta clear it. Ancient of Lore, Ancient of War, you gotta clear it. Giant Taunt, Giant Taunt, you gotta clear it, or your opponent's gonna get stuff. Big Body, okay, one of the bad ones. Gotta clear it, or your opponent's just gonna win. Bad-ish, Giant Body, Giant Body, Giant Body, medium-sized body. Taunt and game-winning effect. Giant Body with another Death Rattle on it. Body, Taunt, medium-sized body, Taunt, Giant Body. So you can see these cards are, like, a lot of these cards are real powerful. Even if you get a 4/4 out of that, it is still a good card. So again, going back to my point on the point on power level. Violet Worm back in, where is it? Kobolds and Catacombs. Where is it? Here it is. This used to be like a premium arena card depending on the player. Like for some players this was like a super top tier. For other players this was like a really good card. This would be by itself a 4-star card, and it would still be a 4-star card. So what we have here with the Proto-Drake is that it's a better Violet Worm. It's got more stats initially, and honestly it's got a very good chance to give you more stats for on the second half of the body. And my point, because it's a giant body, because the giant sticky body, it's going to be very hard to remove. It does something unique in a meta that kind of counters what the meta is doing. So I would not be surprised if this ended up being the best card in the set. I have it a little bit worse than the Smug Senior, but it is still like a really good card, easy 4-star card. Robe of Protection. Your minions cannot be targeted by spells or hero powers. I've seen other people high on this card. I am not. Okay, so this protects itself. So a 2/4. So this protects itself and it protects other things. What this means is that you can't target things with spells, which it's going to be useful. Is it going to be useful as the 3/7? Not really. I think the Ogremancer, the Ogremancy thing. Yeah, Ogremancer. I think this is going to be a lot better than the robes. Actually, never mind. Forget about the robes because that is a whatchamacallit. That's a rare, and I'm still going over to commons. So I forgot about that. All right. Well, anyways, that would have been like about a 2-star card. I'll go over it later. Okay. Animated Broomstick, Rush, Battlecry, give your other minions Rush. 1 mana, 1/1 Rush is about a 2-star card. Fine. Like it's a high 1-star card, low 2-star card. We know that. Battlecry, give your other minions Rush. That's actually pretty powerful because there's a lot of death rattles in there. There's a lot of poisonous minions that are still around, and just like one mana to do that, to give everything Rush. Like there was, I think the warrior card Charge. I want to say Charge is because they changed Charge to give things Rush. I'm gonna check that out. Standard warrior. Actually, let me just search. That's not going to work, is it? Let me see here. All cards. I saw it. It's like a basic or classic card that gives your minion, that gives a minion Rush. Let's see here. Basic. There it is, Charge. Give a friendly minion Charge. It cannot attack heroes this turn. So Warrior has as its basic card what's effectively Rush for a single minion. That's my point here. Warrior has that for a single minion that it can't attack heroes this turn. In MSG, let's see, where's MSG? Not MSG. Boomsday. Where's Boomsday? Warriors got give a minion Rush, draw a card. So again, you see, like this is the previous level of power level, and now we've got Scholomance, where it's filter, rarity, common. Where we got this. So yeah, the thing is, those previous cards, they really weren't all that good. So for the Animated Broomstick, I think that Animated Broomstick is actually going to be a really good card. I think this is actually a low 4-star card because like I just think like giving everything rush is a really powerful effect, and it's a game-winning effect, and it's kind of like a quasi AoE, especially if you've got like a bunch of value minions that you just want to throw at the enemy. Like if you got the 3/1 Ghost here, you can play that, give it rush, have it take out something, and you still got a 1/1 on the board, and you can throw a 1/1 into something. So again, I think really powerful card. Tour Guide. 1 mana 1/1 Battlecry. Your next hero power costs 0. So you play this, and then your 2 mana hero power costs 0. So this basically makes your hero power 1 mana, and gives so for 1 mana you get a 1/1. You get your hero power, and so blah. For 1 mana you get a 1/1 and your hero power. So if you want to put it in a Paladin perspective, this is an Alley Cat on 1 for Paladin. That's like an 80. For Mage, this is an Elven Archer. That's like a 60. For Warlock, this is 1 mana, draw a card. That's okay. It's kind of like a worse version of Kobold Librarian. Like Kobold Librarian was like an 80 or a 90. This is worse because it only has 1 attack. So probably a 70 or a 60. So you see the point I'm going here. I'm going with this, right? 1 mana, deal 2 damage to your face. For Hunter, that's not good. 1 mana, gain +1 armor and 1 attack. For Druid, that's 1 mana, equip a dagger for Rogue. Alright, so I probably, in my review, I should clarify that this is massively dependent on the class, but you can see that this card is going to be really powerful in certain classes. So like, okay, yeah, I definitely overlooked this in my initial review. So like in a Paladin, I think this is like a 4-star card, easily in Paladin. I think in Warlock, it's probably a 3-star card. I think in Mage, it's probably like we're talking 2-star cards. So it depends on the class, but however good your hero power is however good this is going to be. Steward of Scrolls. 5 mana, 4/4, spell damage, battle cry, draw a card. Oh, sorry, that's Azure Drake. Battle cry, discover a spell. It's the same thing as Azure Drake. All right. So Azure Drake was a card that was so good that it was literally moved into the Hall of Fame, so that this thing that is the exact same thing as Azure Drake could be printed. So a little bit worse because it's an elemental. A lot better because it's discover a spell. So Azure Drake back in the day would have been a premium card. It would have been a high 70s card. Today it would probably be mid to low 70s. So the Steward of Scrolls, to me, this is an easy high 70s, low 80s card. So for the Steward of Scrolls, I think it's like a very, very easy 4-star. Did I write it in the wrong? Yeah, so for me, I think it's pretty much, it's an easy 4-star card. It's like right on the boundary of that. So yeah, it's like a low 4-star card just because there's just better cards now. Mana Feeder Panthera. Battlecry. If you've used your hero power this turn, draw a card. So Gnomish Inventor is a 4 mana 2/4 Battlecry, draw a card. This is a 2/3 plus your hero power, draw a card. It is a almost strictly better Gnomish Inventor. So, and it can be played on 2 as a 2-drop, which, like, don't discount that. If this is your 2-drop, you play this on 2. Okay, point being, this is a card that it's fine in the early game. It'll get a lot of value in the late game. It'll generate cards for you. So, obviously, good card. This is a high 3-star card. Maybe low 4-star card. Depends upon how much card value is, how much you value card generation. Sorceress Substitute. Battlecry. If you have spell damage, summon a copy of this. So shamans and mages both are classes that get access to spell damage. They have spell damage mechanics in the game. Like, This card in those classes is going to be a lot better, especially in Shaman, because Shaman can just randomly RNG a spell damage totem and then get 2 6/6s on the board. So in Shaman, it's a 4-star card. In Mage, it's a 3-star card, just because you'll get enough spell damage intermittently. And then for other classes, you do not take spell damage, so it's a 2-star card just because it's a 6-mana 6/6. Penflinger, 1 mana 1/1 battlecry, deal 1 damage. Spellburst, return this to your hand. This is a bonus, definitely. This is a lot better than Elven Archer, and an Elven Archer is like a 3-star card on its own. So I'm not going to give it that much, but you are going to lose games due to this card. You're going to have opponents who are just going to like chain spells and then use this and ping off like a bunch of things on your board. That's going to happen. So again, this is a solid 3-star card. Onyx Mage Scribe. I went over this before when I was talking about Spellburst, but 6 mana, 4/9, 13 stats for 6 mana. That's good. Dragon is good. Spellburst. Add 2 random spells from your class to your hand. Random spells, not the best thing, but they're good on average. Good stats. The one downside, if you want to say that, is that because it costs so much, you have to play this with like a cheap spell to be able to activate it. But really, this is a really, really good card. This is a 4-star card. Like, I'm not sure. I have Smug Senior as the best card. I think the Plagued Proto-Drake could be the best card. This is like the kind of like the trinity of like which card is going to be the best card. I don't really know, because I think if Spellburst is like super common, then this is the best card. I think there's going to be enough times where you can't activate it that drags it down. But yeah, just like a really, really good card. Wretched Tutor, 4 mana 2/5 Spellburst, deal 2 damage to other minions. So in my other video talking about Spellburst, I compared this to a Corrupted Seer, which was a 6 mana 2/3, deal 2 damage to all other minions. I think as a 4 mana 2/5, that sucks completely. The Spellburst requires you to have a cheap enough spell in hand to justify it, and it not only that, it requires you to have a situation to justify wanting to play this, because you always want to do this. You rarely want to do this. So, and even if you do this, you get a 2/5. So what I said in my review, I said I would rather have a Corrupted Seer with this, and a Corrupted Seer is like a high 60s card. So, then it would probably be like a mid 60s card. So for here, low 3-star card, it's going to screw you over, but I don't think it's all that much better than the Corrupted Seer. So, comments out of the way. So, because of the set, there's actually only very few cards left. Okay. Robes of Protection. I went over this one before. It's bad on curve. It requires you to really have a board. There's a lot of ways that you can handle it even if you don't have... like there's a lot of rush minions and there's a lot of just removals that I think even if you put it when you have things on the board, that I don't think it's going to really be all that great. So for me, I have Robes Protection. I think it's a 2-star card. I think it's fine. I think it's going to be situationally useful. But like here, it is not an effective defense against Flame Strike, Twisting Nether, or other AoE effects. Voracious Reader. At the end of your turn, draw until you have 3 cards. So, Jeeves, everyone's talked about the Jeeves comparison. We're in a completely different meta from what Jeeves was. And that's the problem. I think in a different meta, this would be an insane card. I think this could be like one of the better cards in the set. In this set, it's a 1/3. That's bad on 2. You're very rarely going to have a hand that's cheap enough where you can get this effect off. And so I think that this is a low 2-star card. I think maybe even a 1-star card in the current meta. Like, this is one of those cards that's extremely deck dependent. And I think that the majority of decks are not going to be able to A, get use out of it, B, going to be able to get your hand cheap enough where you can actually start drawing stuff. Cult Neophyte. Battlecry, your opponent's spells cost 1 more next turn. So, I actually should have included that in my video. Spellburst makes going second actually beneficial because the coin counts as a Spellburst activator. This is the counter to that. So your spell costs 1 more. You are going first. You play this on turn 2. Your opponent is expecting to coin out a 3-drop, and now they can't. And that's going to mess with them. They have a Spellburst card. You play this, and you accidentally screw up their Spellburst card. Like, that's going to really annoy people. So for me, I have this high 3-star card. Like, I think it's going to be very useful in certain situations. Like, I think a lot of situations it's not going to matter, but in a lot of other situations it's going to be very useful, but you don't really know what happens until, like, you're never going to really know how useful it was. Enchanted Cauldron Spellburst, cast a random spell of the same cost. Other people, okay, a 3-mana 1/6 is bad. A random spell of the same cost. There are a lot of bad spells out there, so that is bad. I think this card is a card I would never want to pick. This is an easy 1-star card for me. Like, it's a gimmicky card. I just noticed do you smell the cauldron is cooking? Okay. But yeah, it's a gimmicky card, 1 star, don't pick it. Educated Elec. Whenever this spell is played, this minion remembers it, because an Elec never forgets. This is reminding me of a saying, Elec never something I can't remember. Death Rattle, shuffle the spells into your deck. I think this is actually a bad effect. Okay, I think this is a bad effect, but I could be wrong. Because if this is going to be a control meta, then fatigue is going to be a thing. So adding things to your deck to stave off fatigue is actually going to matter. So now what just happened there was I was thinking Warlock and Demon Hunter get a soul fragment mechanic, so I'm not sure if you have the Elec on board and it lives. If you draw a soul fragment, does the soul fragment get shuffled back into your deck? I would imagine not, because, well, never mind, it's Death Rattle shuffles back into your deck. I would imagine not, because it's not technically played, it just plays by itself. Okay, point being, shuffling a bunch of cheap spells into your deck, that is not good. Unless you're playing a fatigue game, which, then it's better. So compare it to a regular 3-mana 3/4, which is about a 3-star card. I would say it's a little bit worse on average, but still a 3-star card. Transfer to Student. 2-mana 2/2. This has different effects based on which game board you are on. So if you've been, I can't rate this card. It's way too much variance to rate this card properly. So I just say 2-mana 2/2, discover a minion, discover something, and that's a 4-star card. Like, there's not much there. The card's going to be good. It's going to be a 2-mana 2/2, discover something. It's going to have benefits. Finally, we got the legendaries. Okay. Master Alabaster. When your opponent draws a card, add a copy to your hand that costs 1. I compared this card to Antonidas, Archmage Antonidas for Mage. So the thing with this is, like, a 1-cost, a copy of a card that costs 1 to your hand, I would rather have a Fireball than that for the majority of the things you're going to draw. Like, it's Antonidas, which is a 4 to 5-star card, but it's a high 4, low 5-star card, but doesn't actually impact the board, and I don't think the effect is going to be all that. Like, it's strong, definitely, but I don't think it requires it to live to actually get value, and that's what keeps things off the 5-star tier. Vectis. Summon 2 1/1 Whelps. Each gains a death rattle from your minions that have died that game. There's quite a few death rattles in the game. There's not quite a few. There's more than a few death rattles in the game. So this is going to go off more than you would. So, the minions are going to summon those death rattles. So you got 6/6 worth of stats, plus you got death rattles. So you got 8 mana's worth of stuff in a 5-mana value. You don't have any initiative, but you got a lot of value for a card. So yeah, that's a high 4-star card. Sphere of Sapience. At the start of your turn, look at your top card. You can put it on the bottom and lose 1 durability. Alright. Related cards, a new fate. Draw a different card. Alright. So I'm going to compare this in a weird way to Embiggen. Embiggen is 0 mana, and if you draw a minion, your minion gets +2/+2 and +1 mana. So that's probably on average a 30-point card difference for each minion that you draw. You have to pay 1 mana for this. You have to take up a weapon slot if you're a class that has weapons. And like the average difference between like the thing you put on the thing that you put on the bottom of your deck and what you draw is probably only going to be 15 or 20 points, and it takes 4 turns for this to like fully go off. So being honest, I think it's useful in certain situations, but I would say this is not a good card. I would say that this is like at its absolute best in classes that have no weapons. This is like average. This is like a 2-star card. But in most classes, this is going to be like a 1. In weapon classes, it's a 1-star card. Lore Keeper Polkelt. Battle Cry. Reorder your deck from the highest cost card to the lowest cost card. By the way, the code here, I did coding like 20 years ago, back when I was in high school. So I actually understand what all this code is. Quicksort card equals card, quicksort X to XS equals quicksort small plus plus, X equals quicksort large, where small equals Y divided by Y, large equals Y divided by 1. Yeah, okay, I understand all that. So that's good. That's nice. Okay, point being, reorder. Problem with this card, you cannot play this on turn 4. You cannot play this on turn 5. You probably cannot play this on turn 6 unless you have your 7 and 8 drops all lined up. So this is a 4 mana card that you cannot play until the late game. And even then, drawing nothing but big cards, like, it sounds good. But if you don't have anything to combo those big cards with, then you're beginning to draw like 6 mana cards, and you don't have like a thing to play those 6 mana cards with. And big cards, they're useful, but there are plenty of situations where playing a big card just loses you the game because your opponent ignores it. So I'm not sold completely on this card. I think it can be a powerful card. I think its top deck battles, it's great. So I think it is a 3-star card just because of winning those top deck battles, which you lose so much. But I can't say that this is like a super premium card. Finally, Headmaster Kel'thuzad. Okay, so Spellburst. If the spell destroys any minions, summon them. Heavily dependent on your class. Class like Warriors, they don't have spells that kill minions, so it's going to be useless. Classes like Mage, they have spells that kill minions. This is going to be really useful in them. So I would say in certain classes like I would say Priest, Mage, Shaman, and Warlock. They have access to really powerful AoEs. They have access to really powerful single target removals. In those classes, I would say it's a 4-star card. I would say Druid, Hunter, Rogue, they have access to decent enough removals. So I would say in those classes, it's a 3-star card. In Paladin, in Warrior, honestly Demon Hunter, because a lot of their spells do not actually damage the minion by themselves. This is a 2-star card, which is just basically a 5 mana 4/6. Alright. So that is it for the neutrals. I will be back next with Demon Hunter, and I will go through Demon Hunter and then the rest of the classes. So I will see you then.